Good morning. Welcome back to Bible and Blues. Here, let me get this camera just a little bit. There we go. A little bit better, so Okay, so we're not chopping the top of my head off here. So it's Monday morning, and I actually have a video from Saturday I still have to upload. I don't know why, but yeah. How's your weekend? Hope it was a good one. I was fielding not hateful comments. There were a couple of less than positive responses to that trending, is atheist a trend thing. But there's a few that embraced it, the concept. And I'm working on kind of a new concept that I'd like to run past you, my regular audience. And it's kind of something I've noticed is that atheism has two very distinct sides. And the two sides are, on one side you have SJWs, the social justice warriors, who, and then on the other side you have the people that call themselves classical liberals. Okay, and classical liberal is a phrase I only hear that one really from atheists. If you know some people who aren't, I mean, just let me know. It's fine. Who are theists who call themselves classical liberals. I only hear that from the atheist side, but. So, just the concept that the two sides need each other, and without each other, they have nothing, and I would say that the social justice warriors have a tendency to be stronger, in the sense that atheists can be more prolific. I can't talk this morning. Based on social justice, because without the moral lawgiver of God, you have to incorporate moral laws into actual written law. So as such, you need these things. You need the social justice to sit there and try to figure out what is a good moral law, and without the moral lawgiver, you're kind of all over the places, which is what we see happening. You have the classical liberals, and I would beg to say that they are more like they're more on the verge of anarchists. Not really. I mean, they believe in the rule of law and everything, but the whole libertarian concept, I guess, would be more accurate. They're not anarchists. They actually do believe in law. So somebody's going to jump all over for me for that. There's going to be comments. But the concept that, when you go to places where atheism is stronger, Canada, theism is very weak there. However, theism has gotten stronger because of influx of Muslims. And we'll see there's going to be some backlash on that eventually. But you go to these places that that are your England and Germany, these places where atheism is stronger than it is here in the United States, and this is where you see laws being put in the books that say things like, you can't put these people down, you can't speak out against these people. Canada has the tribunal, whereas if you have in your life, say you're renting a place, and it starts out that concept, which is actually I kind of agree with. If you're renting a place in your place of business, you should be doing business with everybody, okay? And I'm not a big fan of the concept of the baker not baking a cake for the gay wedding. I'm not a huge fan of that, but I think that's kind of an empty statement that just caused a lot of problems. But when you get to a point where you have laws that state, how you treat people directly on a one-on-one basis, and that you can't voice your opinion on things, when you have laws that are against that, now we start to have a problem. I mean, one of the great things about the United States is I can give my opinion, and whether you like it or not doesn't matter as to whether I can give it. Okay, I can give my opinion. There might be some repercussions for giving my opinion, but I can give my opinion. There are countries which are considered to be free Western countries where you can't give your opinion. You can't say, I don't like XYZ. Okay. I don't like this group of people. Okay. You can actually be charged with a crime. You cannot post on Facebook something that's anti-feminism. You can actually be charged with a crime. You can't post something that's anti-Islam. You could be charged with a crime. And there's modern Western countries that are doing this. And I think this is an outgrowth more of atheism than it is an outgrowth of social justice warriors. And I think it's because people who are atheists don't have a moral law to guide them, and so therefore they need to incorporate the law. Well, they don't know, and because ideas run the gambit, who's in charge is going to make that rule, and they have put the social justice warriors in charge. So we've had some slides into that. We've slid into that a little bit here in the United States. Fortunately, we have a very strong constitution here in the United States that we can fall back on and say, no, you're stepping on my right for this, in order to grant rights over here. So and that's an important aspect of our Constitution here. So I'm probably going to get some love over that. So today we're going to read Psalm 141. Okay, it is a Psalm of David, and it's not a particularly long one. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. O Lord, I call to you. Come quickly to me. Hear my voice when I call to you. May my prayer be set before you like incense. May the lifting of my hands be like the evening sacrifice. Set a guard over my mouth, O Lord. Keep watch over the door of my lips. Let not my heart be drawn to what is evil, to take part in wicked deeds with men who are evildoers. Let me not eat of their delicacies. Let a righteous man strike me. It is a kindness. Let him rebuke me. It is oil on my head. My head will not refuse it. Yet my prayer is ever against the deeds of evildoers. Their rulers will be thrown down from the cliffs, and the wicked will learn that my words were well spoken. They will say, as one plows and breaks up the earth, so our bones have been scattered at the mouth of the grave. But my eyes are fixed on you, O sovereign Lord. In you I take refuge. Do not give me over to death. Keep me from the snares they have laid for me, from the traps set by evildoers. Let the wicked fall into their own nets while I pass by in safety. Here is the reading of the Lord. Thanks be to God. And here's David speaking once again about the men who are evildoers, and don't get pulled into their world. And it's very easy to get pulled into their world. Their world is the populist world, and our path is the narrow path leading to the narrow gate, and that's why when people are. It's hard to argue when people are saying, hey, you're kind of like dwindling, yada yada yada. It's like, I don't see that necessarily as that bad of a thing. We already know that of those who are true believers, there's not as many. I mean, there's a lot of people out there who profess to be Christian and believe in God and never attend church and never pray and never open their Bibles, but they profess to be Christian. And so, will Jesus know these people in the end? I don't know. From what I have read and seen, they've been denied by they're denying God by their actions. Okay, and so so there's a possibility that they're going to have a big problem. So I believe the actual believers, and people who follow and love Jesus, it's a narrow field. Okay, and on one day I feel like I'm very strongly with the field that's full of believers. On another day, I hear words coming out of my mouth that are like, that's probably not what Jesus wants me to say, so maybe I'm doing the wrong thing, and then I don't stop. And maybe I'm cussing a lot, or maybe I'm using bad humor, sitting with the mockers. Things like that. And this is a little confession time for me, because it's this is a time when maybe I'm not being the true follower of Christ at this point. So maybe it's something I need to work on. Maybe when maybe when I'm making a video about atheists, maybe I'm being too harsh and not showing enough of God's love to the situation. Maybe I'm not using proper apologetics that God wants me to use, and using the Bible, using His Word, and showing people His Word, and letting them make their own decision, and letting God work in their lives. Maybe I'm having a problem with that. Maybe that's something I need to pray more about. So, it's a conversation to have. So I don't know where you sit. I know that we need to be prepared to defend our faith. When people come to us asking questions and trying to call us out, we need to have His Word in our heart, and allow the Holy Spirit to take over in those cases, to generate His outcome, not ours. So anyway, I am at work. I need to get going. You guys have a great day. I will talk at you later. I'm going to get in there and start my week, and pray that you have a wonderful week. Take Christ into your workplace with you. If you're in a situation where you're not allowed to talk about God, just allow God's light to shine through you and to others. If they ask why, what's different about you, just tell them, hey, I'll talk to you about it after work. You want to sit down and have a cup of coffee after work? At this point in time, or something like that, and have that conversation with people. It's like, well, what's changed in you, or how come you're so happy all the time? And people have asked me things like, Cameron, how come you have this crazy home life when your wife's in a wheelchair, and you obviously don't have a normal marriage, and you have this problem and that problem, and how can you follow God with all that? And I'm like, well, that's the conversation's going to take a lot longer than I can give to you in the next 2 minutes while we both have to go to work. So as a follower, make sure that you are doing the absolute best you can, because the work that you're doing in your workplace is work for Jesus. And if you're not making it work for Jesus, go find another job. Okay. So turn your day over to Jesus. Let him have it. Do the work do work that honors Him, and that lifts up and exalts Him. So God bless you. Have a great day. I will talk to you later.